are the tomatoes and the capsicum and the ugali we've been eating all the time, GMOs. Welcome back. This is part 2 of the video we did on GM crops. It's entirely an informational video, not an expert opinion. It's just my knowledge, information that I know I would like to share with you as a gardener and also as a consumer. So today I'm going to address the difference between hybrids, open pollinated crops, indigenous crops, or what we call heirlooms, and GMO foods. So recently a farmer asked me, are the tomatoes and the capsicum and the ugali we've been eating all the time GMOs? The answer is no. GMOs have been banned in the last 10 years, and the tomatoes in the market are actually not GMOs, they are hybrids. We will be talking about what hybrids are and their difference and from GMOs and all these other kinds of seeds. So today we're just going to differentiate and then tell you whether you will make a decision. By the way, you will decide what kind of seeds you want to plant in your garden. So after the lift of the ban and the GM crops were allowed in the country, so you can actually purchase, import, grow GM crops in Kenya now. That was not the case before. So then the farmers are asking, have we already had GMOs? No, the answer is no, we haven't had any GMOs in the market. Someone actually claimed that they know someone who sells non-GMO bananas because she knows how to differentiate GMO and non-GMO crops. And the truth is, from face value, from your eyes, it may be very, very hard for you to differentiate GMOs and other crops. They probably look almost alike, and it will be not as easy as 1, 2, 3 to differentiate them unless there's labeling, which we are going to see. I think the government has set a policy that if you're growing GM crops, you must disclose. If you're processing, you must disclose, you must label clearly, and I think there's a whole legal framework to do that. So then what is a GMO seed? In the other video I said that a GMO is a seed that has been the DNA of the seed has been altered by inserting a gene from another seed or another organism. It can be a non-plant thing like a bacteria, like the soil, like an insect. So it's a gene from an entirely different species that has been put into another species to achieve a certain trait. It can be to make it grow faster, to make it drought resistant, to make it pesticide resistance. There are all those things we talked about in our part 1 of GM crops. So 1, we've already talked about what is GM. Then 2, what is hybrids? Hybrids are a cross of a plant from 2 parent crops in the same species, in the same family. Like if it's a tomato, it's a cross of 2 tomatoes that are made maybe to achieve a bigger tomato, a better tasting tomato, a sweeter tomato, a smaller tomato, all the traits that you want to achieve by crossing 2 different parents. So then hybrids are just crosses of 2 different parents. We may argue that there's also some alteration that has happened with hybrids, such that if you look at the original watermelon and the watermelon we have currently, they are totally different because the crosses have been going on and on and on and on. But in no way are these GM technology crops. So that's nothing to worry you about. They've always been around. So then what's wrong with hybrids? I might say nothing, but you cannot save seeds from hybrids and grow them and achieve the same thing next season. They are going either to go back to parent traits, or probably they'll grow an entirely different things. So the best hybrids to grow then are F1. So I know you've heard of F1 chicken, F1 curry chicken, F1 croira, F1 whatever. But the first cross, when you cross 2 parents, the first seed is the F1, and that one achieves the traits of the two crosses. So that's an hybrid. And the seed, the F2, which is the seed you harvest after planting an hybrid, will never be the same as the one you grew last season. It will not be the same. It might be different color, but it's never true to bear. It doesn't bear true. That's what we usually say. So hybrids don't bear true. They are just one seasonal crops, or so I can say. They're just suitable for one season, and that's the end. Next season you will have to buy other hybrids, or if you save seeds like I sometimes do, they will not bear true. So they can be open pollinated, they can be selectively pollinated, they can be anything, but the truth is they will not bear true. Then we have open pollinated crops. So these are crops in the field, like your tomatoes, your sunflowers in the field, that are pollinated by pollinators like bees, birds, humans, wind, and everything. And these crops, they are just mostly they are pollinated by same parents, like a tomato with another same variety of tomato. It's a single parent crop. They are not selectively crossed, they just open pollinated. So then the problem is sometimes the bees can go to another variety and come. So it's not like 100% pure that open pollinated crops are always a single parented. But ideally, and on book or theoretically, open pollinated crops bear true. They bear the same. So if your crops are open pollinated and you plant them next season, they'll give you the same. They'll give you the same crop, and you harvest, like if you harvest your tomato, you plant it, you harvest the same. So those are open pollinated crops, which are very popular in Kenya, and most of us plant them. The tereres we plant, just leave them. We don't go and cross them. Rarely will farmers do that, but seed companies do that. I actually have participated in that when I was doing maize breeding at Kari Embu. So we did a few crosses, so I have a blind idea. So in many years, I do have an idea of how the hybrids are created. So the next kind of seed then are heirlooms. Heirlooms are seeds that have been passed down generations. It's not entirely agreed on how long a seed should have existed for it to be considered heirloom, but some people say 50 years, some people say at least 4 generations. And so heirlooms have a heritage and a culture, and they are gaining a lot of popularity amongst the organic farmers like myself. I always look out for heirlooms. Reason being, these are seeds that have been here for long. They have a history. They have adapted themselves to that particular environment. And so they are good, and people argue they are tastier, they are easier to manage. I don't know, but you can judge for yourselves. But heirlooms are seeds that have existed across generations. They have been passed down. Nothing much has been done to them. They have just grown on their own. Whether they have undergone cross-pollination, we really don't know, but that's what heirlooms are considered to be. So they carry a culture, they carry a heritage, and the big argument is that GMOs, if they cross with their heirlooms, they are going to kill them. So we are no longer going to have those pure indigenous seeds. Like our pure terere, I don't know their hybrid tereres, but there's the original terere, there's the original managu, if you know, you know. So the argument is if the GM crops, if one farmer plants GM crops there, and I plant my heirlooms here, if cross-pollination happens, I might lose my indigenous crop, or my indigenous crop will have traits that I don't want. So it's no longer going to be indigenous. It's no longer going to be the original seed that I planted. And so that's another fear, but we will address it in another video when we talk about something called terminator seeds. That's another whole topic. We will talk about it in this series of GM crops and what you need to know. So the next type of seeds are organic seeds. Ideally, organic seeds are seeds that have been raised organically, and that's the best way to define them. So it really doesn't mean that if you have organic seeds and you don't raise them organically, you're going to harvest an organic crop. No, it doesn't work like that. But I actually do take organic farming as a food system. It's a food growing system as opposed to the actual seed. So whether you raise an organic seed organically or non-organically, that is what determines what you harvest, whether it's organic or not. Because I do grow hybrids and I raise them organically and I consider my food organic. I don't know whether that can be contested, but I think it should not, because the food raising system is what really matters for your yield and what you get at the end, as opposed mostly to the kind of seed you grow. That's arguable. But organic farming or organic seeds are seeds that have been raised organically. Usually, I don't think whether we have a seed company that produces organic seeds in Kenya, but I do know that farmers in organic groups and in organic farming markets, they do share. By the way, seed sharing is illegal actually in Kenya, but I do know that there are seed saving networks and there's a seed exchange networks. There are seed saving groups where you can go and get organic seeds from your fellow organic farmers. So it's a system that has been developed by organic loving farmers like myself and yeah, that's it. So I think we know now the difference between hybrids and GMOs and heirlooms and organic seeds. Thank you so much for watching this video, and always remember, if you have a vision, add some passion. I'll see you in the next one.